John Arnone is the chairman and CEO of American Cryostem. Prior to his involvement in the life sciences biotechnology industries, he spent 25 years in the financial services industry. Over the years, he has provided advisory and business management services to mid-level and development stage companies. John holds a degree in business administration and a BA in economics from Kean University. Mr. Arnone?
Thank you very much, and I want to thank OMFNY for allowing us the opportunity to present here today. All right, so let me figure this out. Everybody's seen the safe harbor before, I'm positive. American Cryostem. We were actually founded in 2008, and we were founded from a need that we saw in the marketplace coming from actually the cord blood industry. Everybody that has been able to successfully store a child's cord is preparing that child for the future. Well, we saw an opportunity that the rest of the population had no cost-effective way to store their stem cells for their future as the regenerative medicine industry moved along, which prompted us to form American Cryostem. And our commitment was to create an affordable, quality, clinical-grade, adipose-derived stem cell storage platform that would allow an individual to lock in their biological age for future use in regenerative medicine. And just to give a quick overview so everybody can understand the balance of the presentation, we deal with adipose tissue, which science has found is one of the most abundant sources of stem cells in the body. It has really risen to the top of the stem cell curve over the last couple of years. Our process that we developed is a simple process where any individual could visit a participating physician, most likely a cosmetic, plastic, or a derm, and have what we call a mini lipo. It's a 30-minute procedure where the doctor extracts 60 cc's of adipose tissue right from the belly area. He then overnights it back to our laboratory facility where we either store the tissue for future transplantation purposes, or we further process the tissue to create a stem cell application that the patient could use back into their body to heal and repair. We went with the adipose tissue because it is a very significant source of adult cells, and naturally everybody's got a little extra fat tissue somewhere that they could spare. The adipose-derived stem cell can differentiate into multiple types of cells, and they self-renew, which creates an abundant supply in the body and allows us to really work with it in our laboratories. The first piece that we take out of the adipose tissue is we process what's called the stromal vascular fraction. That fraction contains the cells that are listed up on the board here. And of particular interest to us is the mesenchymal stem cell, which we developed many methods to culture and expand, which I can get into here on a little later slide. Our laboratory is FDA registered, and we're set up on the Burlington College campus in South Jersey. We conform with all the applicable tissue bank and blood bank rules, as well as we have developed a proprietary, what we call laboratory information system that will allow us to scale laboratories or track patients globally. It's a one-of-a-kind system, and it's taken us about 2.5, 3 years to program. Some of the current services that we're working with at our laboratory right now is we've been working, a lot of physicians now that are starting to enter the regenerative medicine world and are working with adipose tissue really are using a office type of system, and they're trying to process into the stromal vascular fraction. And they finally have come to the point where they're sending us tissue for assessment because they're not really sure what they're ending up with putting back into the patient's body. As well as the services that we're offering, we also manufacture on a contract basis for other companies that need stem cells and conditioned medium, which I'm going to go into here on the next couple of slides. One of the keys, though, is that we maintain an individual's stem cells in a cryotank. So we're actually locking in your biological age for your future use. The industry we're in, we call regenerative medicine, and it encompasses 3 or 4 areas of products that we're touching on, such as this cosmetic and reconstruction markets. We also have products for the cell therapy markets, as well as we have a skincare line that we've developed that's customized totally to the individual out of their own stem cell growth factors. We've currently set up, and we're in collaborations with Rutgers University and a couple of other universities, and they're working with the cells that we manufacture in our laboratory as well as the mediums, which you'll see on a slide, one of the next slides here. One of the products that we first had to develop was a method to collect the cells from a doctor and from an individual. We called that Select, and that's how we've branded it. And what it does is it creates an unbreakable chain of custody between the individual, the doctor, and our laboratory facility. So we're always on top of the fact that if you bank your cells with us, you will receive your cells back when you need an application. And a key that I think that we do that a lot of other industry we've seen overlooked is that we test every sample that comes into our laboratory for sterility, as well as for cell viability before we put it in the tank to store it. It makes no sense to store stem cells unless you know they're viable and you're going to be able to pull them in 20 years and they're going to be able to be grown. So that select package has become the cornerstone of us collecting it. One of the offshoots of us being in this business has been what's going on with the plastic and the cosmetic surgeons, and I'm sure everybody knows Botox, Juvederm, Restylane, which are fillers, facial fillers. What's come to light now is that if you use adipose tissue and it's properly put into place by a skilled surgeon, it lasts forever and it's permanent. So one of the hottest procedures out there now is tissue grafting and tissue transfer, moving the tissue from one part of the body to the other. So we actually set up a service around an individual that's having a current lipo or wants to store their tissue, possibly to put into their hands, their face, their breasts, or even they've been building larger buttocks for women out of it. We brought Dr. Mel Burkle along to work with us about 6 months ago, and Mel was a Beverly Hills plastic surgeon. He is known as the father of tissue transfer. He was the first to pioneer it in the 1980s, and back then it was voodoo science, but today it's the most performed procedure on the market, and Dr. Burkle is our spokesman, and as a matter of fact, today he's out speaking in Las Vegas to the plastic and cosmetic surgeons industry about it. Another product that we've developed off of your own adipose tissue and stem cells is a personalized anti-aging product. We manufactured a key ingredient for personal cell science, which we branded Autokine CM. Autokine CM is made from your stem cells. It's your stem cell growth factors. Because stem cells will not live in a cosmetic, but the proteins and the cytokines that they excrete will. So we've been able to brand this Autokine CM, which is a very thick conditioned medium that has your growth factors in it, and blend it to create a truly customized anti-aging product, which we did put through a clinical study, and if anybody wants to talk about results, we can talk about that after. some of the accolades we received back in 2012, well, when the glamour industry saw the product and that key ingredient we had created, they said it was the biggest breakthrough in the beauty industry in 2012. And Forbes actually gave us the top 10 fashion and beauty startups of the year with that, because of that product. We probably received exposure in 50 magazines, a lot of TV, and a lot of international exposure, actually, we've gotten on this. One of the products that we manufacture and patented, and a patent was approved on, is medium. And I'm sure everybody that's looked at biotech always sees the little Petri dish there with the liquid in it, and like, what is that? Well, that's medium. That's where you put the stem cells when they're outside of the body. It feeds them and keeps them alive. Well, 5 years ago, we noticed that the industry was running on what's called fetal bovine serum, and that's made from cow embryos. And the thought occurred that as the FDA begins to approve applications for stem cells in the body, that we would be able, that they would not allow cells into the body that have been grown in animal product, which prompted us to research and patent animal-free serum. It's actually made out of human albumin. So I guess about a year ago, approximately a year ago, we were approved with a patent to make 11 types of medium. 3 of those mediums are albumin-based, and the other 7 or 8 mediums are called differentiation mediums, where we can actually place your mesenchymal cell into the medium and differentiate it into a cartilage cell, a fat cell, a bone cell, a muscle cell. And we're currently optimizing and working on nerve cells right now in our laboratory. We have a half a dozen patents pending that we keep adding to on a regular basis. We believe we've put together a pretty strong barrier to entry in the areas that we're concentrating on here. These patents are US-based and EU. Have been filed in Europe. We've recently set up a collaboration, one of our first, with Rutgers University, and all 3 of Rutgers stem cell laboratories are currently working with our mediums and the stem cells that we've created in our lab, and we're working on wound healing. Rutgers is pretty specialized in scaffolding, and we know if we take cells and they maintain on a scaffold, we'll be able to either topically or inside the body create cures for wounds that won't go away, such as bed sores, #1 killer, diabetic ulcers, and other wounds that are very difficult and hard to treat. That's just, Rutgers was one of the first universities that came to our plate, saw what we had, and we currently have a couple others that are unannounced that'll be coming down the pike in different areas of the wound healing. So a couple of recent things that we've done with the company, the collaboration with Rutgers was naturally gave us some national prominence, what prompted 7 or 8 of the other top universities to phone in. We're in discussions. But a key was that one system that I showed you where we collect the tissue through any physician, and we actually use the collection kit. We've been able to successfully have live tissue shipped to us from as far away as Hong Kong, which means that we can actually scale this piece of it without setting up laboratories around the world until volume is necessary in those parts. The commercial launch of the AT graft product was a milestone for us because it really gave us an entree into all of the plastic and the cosmetic doctors that are currently doing fat transfer. Probably prompted over 100 doctors to enroll in our program. Some of the key growth drivers for our industry now, I want everybody to understand that we're not all over the ballpark in what we do. We do have 3 or 4 products, but they're all derived from adipose tissue, and they're all derived out of our laboratory. So on the first half of it, we created the top circle, we created the at-graft and the select service, which is the processing, covers adult stem cell storage, and it also covers differentiation. Now, to the right, we have the laboratory services, which we showed the slide that we're currently starting to offer to physicians and contract and other manufacturers. We have the wound healing applications that we're working on with Rutgers, and we actually have another project going out in the Midwest, as well as building our intellectual property portfolio. Leadership team. I was announced I've been in the securities business a long time. I sold my firm in 2002, fell in love with stem cells in 2008, and started this company. Anthony Dudzinski also has had about 10 years experience in this industry, but is also out of the security side. Now, one of the keys that we recognized early on was that every aspect we needed to get into, we had to have an in-house expert. So we set up a scientific and medical advisory board. Some of the key players on the board were Dr. Muscatello, who basically was the most authored individual with white papers on cryopreservation of adipose tissue. We had Sanjay Batra join the board. He was an ex-president of Johnson & Johnson. Dr. Mel Burkle, who was actually the founder of the fat transfer movement in the 80s. Dr. Ensley, one of the founding scientists at Amgen. He's been aboard for 2.5 years. Our list goes on, but each individual encompasses one specific area of what we do. Where we, 18 to 24 months ago, we backed into a fully reporting bulletin board shell. Our symbol is Cryo. We have approximately 30 million shares outstanding. Price is about 45 cents. And just a summation why we're here today. We're here today to raise up to $5 million. We need the cash to strictly sales and marketing. Our debt is very minimal. It's only monthly operating debt. And we also are talking to people about putting up smaller pieces because we've had commitments from a couple of brokerage firms now, investment banks, and we're looking to establish a pretty decent syndicate, and we're looking to come to the table with some commitments from additional people. Did I miss anything?
Although, just explain that. That chart there is every single one of those problems, diseases, or injuries are currently in clinical study around the world using stem cells, adult stem cells, adipose-derived stem cells. So if you have someone, everyone in this room has someone that they love, that they know, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but sometime in the near future will be able to be cured or receive a better quality of life through a stem cell treatment. So whether you love our company or not, you need to focus on stem cell treatment because it's coming and it's going to be something that's a game changer.
One last point, as you age, so do your cells. So as soon as you could get them into the tank, the better you are. Thank you very much.